Imagine waking up in a world where every breath you take feels like a gamble against the cold, the hunger, and the ever-present shadow of danger. It's the year 1350, and you're not in a cozy modern home with central heating and a stocked fridge. No, you're in a cramped, drafty house in a small English village, where the wind howls through the cracks in the walls and the faint glow of dawn is your only alarm clock. Welcome to the life of Thomas, a blacksmith in 14th century England, a man whose every day is a battle for survival in a world that offers no mercy. I'm your host at Boring History, and today, we're not just reading about the Middle Ages, we're living a day in Thomas's shoes, from the icy morning to the quiet of the night. So, grab a warm blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's step into a world where every spark from the forge is a spark of hope. This is the story of how a blacksmith survived winter, and trust me, it's anything but boring. The air is sharp as you stir on your straw mattress. The coarse wool blanket barely keeping the chill at bay. You're Thomas, and your home is no palace, just a single room of wood and stone, with a thatched roof that sags under the weight of last night's frost. The darkness is heavy, broken only by the faint flicker of a tallow candle you lit before bed, the smoky scent lingering like a ghost. Candles are precious, made from rendered fat that costs more than you can spare, so you use them sparingly, hoarding them like gold. Instead, you rely on the hearth, the heart of your home, to bring light and warmth. You rise, your breath visible in the cold, and kneel by the embers, coaxing them back to life with a few careful breaths and a handful of kindling. The fire sputters, then catches, casting a soft glow across the room. It's not much, but it's enough to push back the frost that's settled in your bones. Your stomach rumbles as you move, a reminder of the meager meal ahead. Breakfast isn't a feast, it's a bowl of thin oatmeal or a chunk of stale bread, maybe some beans soaked in water. You chew slowly, savoring every bite, because this is the fuel that will carry you through a day of grueling labor. The bread is hard, the oatmeal tasteless, but you're grateful. The Black Death, that grim reaper that swept through just a few years ago, left half the village empty, and food is scarcer than ever. You share the meal with your wife, Agnes, and your children, John and Margaret, who are already stirring, their small faces pale in the dim light. The table is a rough slab of wood. The benches creak under your weight, and there's no chatter, just the quiet focus of a family who knows the day will test them all. As you eat, your mind is already on the work ahead. You're a blacksmith, and your tools are your lifeline. You head to your workshop, just a corner of the same room, separated by a low wooden partition. The air is heavy with soot and iron, the anvil standing like a scarred sentinel in the center. Your tools, hammers, tongs, chisels, are lined up on a shelf, each one a trusted companion. You inspect them carefully, running your fingers along the edges for cracks or chips. A dull hammer or a broken tong could ruin a piece of work, and in a world where every nail you make is a step toward survival, there's no room for error. You grab your sharpening stone, a worn but cherished heirloom from your father, and begin honing each tool. The stone scrapes against metal, a rhythmic sound that fills the morning, grounding you in the task. This isn't just about tools, it's about survival. The Black Death left villages like yours half empty, and wars with France and local lords drain what little remains. Every mistake, every wasted scrap of iron could mean hunger for your family. You've seen neighbors lose everything. A broken tool, a failed harvest, a bandit raid, and you know the line between life and ruin is thin. As you sharpen, you glance at Agnes sorting leather scraps for patching clothes. John, just 10, feeds the fire, his hands steady despite the cold. Margaret sweeps the floor, clearing ash to keep the workspace clean. This is a family affair where every hand matters. The workshop isn't just a place of work. It's the heart of your survival, where hope and resilience are forged alongside iron. The morning light grows stronger, filtering through the shuttered window. You gather materials, iron ingots bartered at great cost, charcoal for the forge, leather for the bellows. Iron is scarce, and you check your stockpile, tucked under a heavy cloth to keep out damp. Every piece is accounted for, every scrap saved, because waste is a luxury you can't afford. The forge needs attention. You inspect the bellows for tears, the hearth for cracks. Everything must be perfect, because a single mistake could halt work for days, and days without work mean days without food. You light the forge, the flames roaring to life, the heat pushing back the chill. The smell of charcoal fills the air, a familiar comfort. You take a moment to breathe, to steady yourself. This is your world, hard, unforgiving, but yours. The fire grows, your tools gleam, and you feel a spark of determination. You're not just a blacksmith. You're a survivor, and today, you'll fight to keep your family fed, warm, and safe. You select an iron ingot, its surface rough and cold, and place it in the forge. John pumps the bellows, the coals glowing brighter. The iron heats, shifting to a faint red, and you watch closely, years of experience guiding you. This is the dance of the blacksmith, a balance of strength and skill, and as the hammer comes down, sending sparks flying, you know the day has truly begun. The forge's heat wraps around you now, a stark contrast to the chill lingering in the corners of your workshop. You're Thomas, and the morning's work has warmed your bones, but the day is far from over. The rhythm of your hammer is like a heartbeat, each strike blending with the crackle of the fire and the puff of the bellows. Your family is all around you, each with their own tasks, their own part in this fight for survival. Agnes mends a cloak, her needle flashing in the dim light. John keeps the bellows moving, his face flushed from effort. Margaret grinds herbs for a salve, her small hands steady. This is your home, your fortress, and it's alive with the quiet strength of a family bound by necessity and love. Your home is humble. A single room with timber walls and an earthen floor packed hard by years of footsteps. The roof leaks when the wind is fierce, and the air is thick with smoke, sweat, and iron. Every inch is used. Tools hang from pegs, a sack of grain sits in a corner. A pile of straw serves as bed and insulation. The hearth is the center of it all, a glowing beacon where you eat, work, and pray. Without it, the winter would claim you. Agnes is your partner in every sense, her hands as skilled as yours. She sharpens smaller tools, patches leather, and keeps the fire fed when John needs a break. John, at 10, is learning the trade, watching your every move, learning the feel of the hammer. Margaret, just 7, sweeps and fetches, her small contributions vital. Everyone has a role because survival is a collective effort. The morning stretches on, the workshop growing warmer, the air heavy with charcoal scent. You're shaping nails now, each one a small but essential piece of your trade. Nails hold carts together, keep roofs from leaking, bind the village's life in ways most never notice. You heat the iron, hammer it into shape, and quench it in water, steam rising like a ghost. Each nail is a victory, a step toward the market where you'll trade them for food or coin. The work is grueling, your arms ache, your back protests. The heat burns your face while the cold seeps through the walls. It's a battle between fire and frost, and you're caught in the middle. You pause, wiping sweat from your brow, and glance at Agnes. She offers a small smile. Those stories fuel you, too, reminding you that strength is in your spirit as much as your arms. You've heard village chronicles of families surviving famine and plague through sheer will. and you want to be one of those stories. The village outside is quiet, the streets empty in the cold. But your home is a hub where neighbors sometimes gather. Just yesterday, William, the carpenter, traded a handle for nails, sharing news of a raid nearby. Chilled you, but it also reminded you of the community's strength. Neighbors help neighbors, sharing tools, mending roofs, watching for bandits. Your home, small as it is a sanctuary where hope is kindled. You think of the winter ahead, the cold already fierce in November. You've stored what grain you can, but it's never enough. Taxes to the Lord are due, and they'll take more than you can spare. But worry won't fill your belly. You focus on the nail in your hand, the iron hot under your hammer. Each strike is defiance, a refusal to break. The morning slips into midday, the light stronger through the window. The pile of nails grows, but there's no rest. The forge demands attention. The bellows need pumping, the iron needs shaping. You show John how to adjust the bellows, his nod showing he's learning. Pride surges, he's young, but he'll carry the craft one day. The workshop is a world of its own, time measured in hammer strikes. But it's part of a larger web, a village where everyone relies on each other. You think of tomorrow's market, the baker who trades bread for nails, the farmer needing a plowshare. They're your world, and you're theirs. Together, you hold back the darkness. You hammer another nail, feeling hope flicker. This is your fight, and as the heat of the forge surrounds you, you know you're ready for what's next. Preparing the tools that make this all possible. The iron glows bright orange now, cutting through the workshop's dim light. You're Thomas, and the day is in full swing. The forge's heat a constant companion. Your tools are your lifeline, and you've spent the morning ensuring they're ready. Now, you're deep in the rhythm of your craft, shaping iron into tools that keep your village alive. These tools aren't just objects. They're extensions of your will, and you treat them with reverence. You inspect each one. Your favorite hammer, worn smooth. Tongs that grip red-hot iron. The anvil, scarred but solid. You sweep away ash, keeping the workspace clean. A cluttered forge is dangerous, and you've seen accidents, burns, broken tools, ruined metal. Sharpening is a ritual. Your sharpening stone, a family heirloom. You wet it carefully, the scrape of stone against metal soothing. Each stroke hones a chisel, ready for carving designs or shaping blades. The stone needs care. Too much pressure wears it unevenly, too little is useless. You found the balance, just as you balance craft and family. The workshop is efficient, every surface used. The workbench is oiled against damp. Shelves hold tools and scraps, each piece saved. You repair broken tools yourself because new ones are too costly. The bellows are checked for tears, the forge for cracks. Everything must work because a weak fire means weak iron. Materials are scarce. Iron ingots are hoarded under cloth, each one weighed for its yield. Charcoal is rationed, passing down a legacy of survival. You've heard of guilds in towns setting rules for quality. Your village is small, but you follow the same principles. A well-maintained tool is pride, a mark of respect for your trade. The workshop is ready, the forge hot. You select an ingot and begin. You heat it, watching it shift to red, then orange. You pull it with tongs, the heat stinging, and place it on the anvil. You're making a knife today, a tool requiring care. The blade must be strong, not brittle, sharp, not fragile. You hammer, fold the metal, heat and hammer again. Each strike is precise, the rhythm hypnotic. The workshop hums. Hammers clang, bellows creak, steams hiss. The air smells of charcoal, iron, sweat. Your arms burn, your back aches, but you push through. This is who you are. You pause, holding the blade to the light. It's taking shape, the edge even. You temper it, plunging it into oil, the liquid bubbling. Experience guides you, ruined blades taught patience. You make horseshoes, nails, hinges, each with its own demands. A horseshoe needs strength, a nail precision, a sword artistry. You switch tasks, pacing yourself. The toll is immense. Hours standing, swinging, bending, but you've learned to endure. Agnes brings water, her touch grounding you. The workshop is dim, lit by fire and a lamp, but you work by feel as much as sight. The anvil is your anchor, solid in uncertainty. You think of the market where this knife will be judged. A good blade buys grain or cloth, but the plague has made customers cautious. Your reputation is currency, and you guard it. A bad blade could cost a customer, and word spreads fast. The pile of goods grows. Nails, a horseshoe, the knife. Each is a victory, a step toward security. The forge is hungry, winter looms, and the world is unforgiving. You glance at your family. Agnes mending, John at the bellows, Margaret humming. They're your strength. You hammer another blow, the iron bending, and you know the real work, the crafting of a life, awaits at the market. The anvil sings, the iron bending to your will. You're Thomas, and the workshop is alive with your craft sounds. Clang of metal, roar of forge, hiss of steam. The day's peak is here, and you're creating, turning raw materials into lifelines. This isn't just work. It's a test of skill against 14th century England's harshness. Every piece is a shield against hunger, and you pour your heart into each. It starts with materials, iron. Your lifeblood is scarce. You trade nails for ingots, hoarding them like treasure. You inspect each for flaws, cracks, impurities, because bad iron ruins work. You place an ingot in the forge. John's bellows keeping the coals glowing. You watch, knowing when it's ready. You pull the iron, heat stinging, and hammer it into a knife. The blade needs strength, not brittleness, sharpness, not fragility. You heat, hammer, fold, repeating the cycle. Each strike is calculated, the rhythm demanding. The workshop's symphony, hammer, bellows, steam, blends with charcoal scent. Your arms ache, but you think of the knife's purpose. A farmer's slaughter, a housewife's meal. The small but vital. You check the blade, its edge sharp. You temper it in oil, the process delicate. Your father taught basics, but failures honed your skill. You've ruined blades, each a lesson. You make other things, horseshoes, nails, hinges, swords for the Lord's men. Each has its rhythm. Horseshoes strength, nails precision, swords artistry. You shift tasks, easing fatigue. The toll is immense. Hours standing, heat burning, cold seeping. You pace yourself, sipping water, stretching. Agnes's touch reminds you why you fight. The workshop is small, dim, but you work by feel. The anvil is your heart, tools your hands. You've made most, repairing as needed. You think of market, where goods are judged. A knife buys grain, but plague makes buyers wary. Your reputation is everything. A bad blade loses trust. The day wears on, goods piling, knife, nails, horseshoe. Each is a victory. The forge hungers, winter nears, and the world is harsh. Your family is your strength. Agnes mending, John pumping, Margaret sweeping. You think of the market, where you'll face customers, not just sell goods. The fair is your lifeline, where trust is currency, and every sale a step toward survival. You hammer, the iron yielding, and you feel ready to step from forge to market, where your craft meets the world. The sun sinks, shadows stretching across your workshop. You're Thomas, and the day's work slows. The forge is hot, the air heavy, but the pace eases. You've made nails, a horseshoe, a knife, but evening is for tying up loose ends, preparing for night and tomorrow. You inspect tools, checking for wear. A crack could break a hammer, halting work. You sharpen, oil, and arrange them, keeping order in the cramped space. A misplaced tool wastes time, and time is survival. You sweep ash and shavings, ensuring the workspace is ready. The hearth is next. Wood is low, and you send John to fetch more, his frame bundled against cold. Winter is brutal, and every log counts. You ration carefully, keeping the fire warm without waste. Agnes prepares stew, beans, vegetables, maybe dried meat. The smell is comfort after a long day. You check the house, stuffing rags into cracks, securing shutters. Raids are rare, but you've heard stories, and you bar the door, check latches. It's enough for peace of mind. You think of the day's work, the knife's sharp edge, the nail's precision. You've done well, but tomorrow's market looms. Your reputation for quality is your shield. But the world is unpredictable: war, plague, famine. The evening meal is quiet, the family around the hearth. The stew warms, the bread fills. Agnes tells a story, her voice weaving hope. You eat, savoring rest. The children sleep, their breathing soft. Agnes mends, you check tools. Silence falls, broken by fire's crackle and wind's howl. You think of winter, taxes, dangers, but also hope. You've survived today, and that's enough. The night is cold, creeping through walls. You light a candle, this flame weak. You lie on straw, thoughts on family, craft, future. Fear of plague, war, hunger mixes with hope. You've forged iron, fed your family, strengthened your home. Tomorrow brings challenges, but you'll face them with skill, strength, love. The night is rest, preparation, a reminder of life's fragility and your resilience. You pray, finding comfort, and drift toward sleep, ready for the next day's fight. This is a blacksmith's life in 14th century England. Struggle, resilience, fire, and frost. It's about the human spirit, the will to endure. If this journey sparked your curiosity, stick with boring history. We've got more stories to uncover, more lives to explore. Drop a comment. What struck you most about Thomas's day? Subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with history lovers. Until next time, keep the fire burning, and let's keep diving into the past together.